Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another 2024 election prediction. This time we're doing the monthly Biden v. Trump prediction for the month of April 2024. So, about a few more months till the election. I think let's see here, elections in November. We got about 7-ish months left. So, let's get started. Starting off, I will say Biden has definitely rebounded in the polls. I mean, we could take a look on raceforthewhitehouse.com. Uh, Overall, Biden's actually gained a little bit because we saw a Harris X poll. Now, Harris X is a very right wing biased pollster. Even that pollster that had Trump up by 4 like a month ago, that poll has Trump and Biden at 50-50 now in the popular vote. So Biden's definitely rebounding. You could even just take a look at this graph right here. Look at how Biden's just starting to pick it up there. That's pretty good for his campaign. He's actually, now that he's spending money, because he has a huge fundraising advantage, now he's actually spending his war chest. We're actually seeing him get up there in the polls. So that fares well for Joe Biden, that he needs to lead the popular vote probably by at least 2 to 3 points to win the Electoral College, I would say. That would give him like at least enough of a chance to have a very decently good shot at winning. Being at 3% is probably his best bet, though. I think that at that point he's definitely the favorite in the Electoral College. Okay. So let's just get right into this. So currently we're just going to have the same old safe states. New York is definitely going to be safe. It's not going to be likely at all. Biden's easily going to carry it by over 10%. It's not going to trend Republican. Trump is not actually going to campaign there either or waste time here, nor do I think he should, because he has no chance here. New York City decides how New York votes, and I just don't see Biden underperforming that badly in New York. But let's just set up a safe Republican states. Utah could potentially go to likely territory if RFK hurts Trump enough there. But I just kind of doubt that as of right now. I think RFK is still not going to perform like amazingly in the election. But who knows? That's for another video topic. But yeah, let's just get right into this. So, first few states, Iowa and Ohio. These states are just trending so far Republican, it's crazy. At this point, Trump's actually leading by double digits in both of these states by reputable pollsters as well. So I think Iowa's probably going to go to Trump by about 11, while Ohio goes to Trump by about 10. Texas and Florida. Florida, I think, actually goes to Trump by 8 points. So I think it's going to be a likely Republican state. Texas, on the other hand, I think it'll be about a 6-point Trump victory. So a little bit better from 2020 when he only won Texas by 5. So that's an improvement in his direction, just because Biden's not polling the best here. We saw a Marist poll have Trump up here by 11, and that's a pretty reputable pollster. But again, I don't think Biden should really spend that much resources in Florida or Texas. I mean, he should only spend resources in Texas if Trump gets sent to jail, because then at least it gets competitive, because we will probably see a few voters go Biden's way, swing in favor of him if that scenario even happens. And that one pollster, Harris X, had said it would increase Trump's support. They're the only pollster that shows that, and they're a very right-wing biased pollster, so they're pretty much garbage. They did terrible in the last election cycle. All right, let's keep on going. So New Mexico and Virginia, we're going to be seeing a bit of drop-off for Biden in both these states. Again, Biden isn't as popular as he was all those years ago back in 2020. He isn't going to carry all those states by over 10% each like he did last time around. Let's just see if we could take a look. Yeah, so this is the approval map. So Biden's definitely not doing the best of Virginia. He's doing a little bit less bad in New Mexico. So, again, definitely really bad in Virginia. So that's why we're going to have these states as likely blue. So moving on to the next few states. The state of Alaska. Let's take a look at Biden's. Ooh, it's pretty bad for Biden there. Negative 22% disapprove. They do have ranked choice voting in Alaska. I'm pretty sure that applies to presidential elections, so that could help Biden a bit there. But again, minus 22% disapproval. And I'm pretty sure we saw a recent Alaska poll. I'll just check this website for a second. Let's see how their polling average is doing in Alaska, because I'm actually fairly interested in checking this out. Let's see here. Biden v. Trump. Let's check it out in Alaska. Yeah, so far Trump's up by 11 here. We did have a few more polls come out from Data for Progress on Trump up by 12. So honestly, I'm probably going to be shifting Alaska to safe Republican again. Just because Trump, he's leading there by over 50%. And ranked choice voting only comes into play if a candidate is below that 50% threshold. So currently Trump is going to win Alaska by a safe Republican margin as of right now. So again, Alaska trending blue. So far, the polls show it's not going to happen this time around. But long term, it'll probably occur. So moving on to New Hampshire and Maine. Again, most New Hampshire polls still show Biden up here by a fairly decent margin, by a likely margin or so. Let's see if we could go to New Hampshire on here. Where the heck is it? Is New Hampshire even on here? Or is it like out of order? Why isn't it alphabetical order? There is NH. Again, most pollsters actually show Biden up here by about 7 points around there. So I still think Biden's going to end up winning here. His approval isn't the worst in New Hampshire either. This is one of those states like Pennsylvania where Biden's actually holding pretty steady. Maine, on the other hand, they did have a weird poll that showed Maine as a lean Republican and another poll that showed Maine as lean Democratic. I mean, I disagree with both those polls. Biden's approval rating in Maine isn't really that bad. In the approval polls, he was only like -6 here. So I would probably put this as a likely blue state still, but Maine's second, I am moving to safe Republican. That's one rating change I'm having on here. Maine could get to lean Democratic. I have to see more polls here because so far it wasn't like a lot of reputable pollsters I've seen or notable ones that did polls out of Maine. I just want to see a reputable pollster do a poll here. That would change my mind on the rating, which shows it's a lean blue race, that I would probably change it that way. But right now, I think New Hampshire is probably going to be a bit more Democratic than Maine. So New Hampshire, I think Biden's going to win by 7. Maine, on the other hand, I think he's going to win by 6. So he's shown a bit of a slight decline in Maine, especially Maine's second, which is hurting Biden's margins here. All right, moving on to this Nebraska's second district. This is a lean blue district. Again, it's a trending blue district overall, so it really shouldn't come as a surprise here. No polls have been done in here, so we're just winging it. But in Nevada and Arizona, again, most polls show Trump ahead in Nevada and Arizona. I'm pretty sure nearly every poll shows that. However, we do have to note that Trump's performance in the Arizona primary, especially in the Maricopa area, even after Nikki Haley dropped out, she still got like in the 20s there. So I think that's a bit of a warning sign for Trump, because if Biden does well in Maricopa County, he's probably ending up winning Arizona. I really think he's actually going to pull that off. There's a lot of undecideds here that'll probably end up breaking for the Dems just because they don't like Trump. They don't like what he said about John McCain. They're typically McCain Republicans, moderates, that I honestly think are actually going to end up breaking for Biden. Trump's not over 50 in these Arizona polls, too, I'll note. He's in like the mid-40s here, so again, I see those undecideds going for Biden in this state. Moving on to Nevada, the polls have narrowed a bit here in the state of Nevada, I believe. Let's just take a look. I mean, I previously had it as tilt Republican anyway, just mainly because I think those undecideds are probably going to end up going for the Democrats there in Nevada. Polling underestimates Democrats in the state of Nevada pretty much all the time. But again, see, Biden's actually in striking distance of actually winning the state, because Trump's only at 47% in the polls. But still, it's a narrow Trump advantage in this state, so no real change here. Just Nevada being more Republican than Arizona, which I kind of expect to happen at this point. All right, moving on to the next few states, North Carolina and Georgia. I don't think it's a waste of time for Biden to try winning North Carolina. North Carolina's polling for Biden is about the same as Georgia right now. So, again, North Carolina actually voted pretty similarly with Georgia in 2020. It was only like a point to the right of Georgia. So it really isn't that much of a waste of time for Biden to target this state. I don't know what people are saying. Oh, you shouldn't even spend time in North Carolina. No, I disagree with that entirely. I think it's also possible North Carolina could be more blue than Georgia in 2024. That's also in the realm of possibility here. I don't think it'll happen. I think Georgia's still going to be more Democratic because there's just a lot more black voters in the state of Georgia that are more likely to turn out, especially in the Atlanta and its suburbs. But again, I don't think it's a waste of time for Biden to end up targeting North Carolina. He's opening a bunch of offices there early. So, with his fundraising advantage, which is pretty much a 4-to-1 advantage at this point in terms of money, I think it's actually a fairly good idea to try to end up competing in North Carolina, try targeting the state as a Democratic flip. So I still have it as a lean Republican state, same with Georgia, because these are just Georgia's probably the most likely state Trump's going to end up flipping. And so far in Georgia, Trump's actually close to hitting 50% in the polls there as well. So I think it's fairly likely Trump ends up winning these two states as of right now if the election were held today. But I think Biden would be doing a smart move to try to invest in North Carolina and try to win back Georgia here. It's very doable. But we had the four Rust Belt states, the states that decide the election. In Minnesota, I think Biden still ends up winning the state by about 4%, but it's a state to keep an eye on, especially if a third party vote share still remains to be high by November. In the state of Michigan, I still think Trump has a narrow advantage here. The best pollsters in Michigan still show Trump up in the state. Wisconsin is a pretty much a tie. It's like a narrow Trump lead of like a tilt margin, and that's currently where I have it as well. And moving on to the state of Pennsylvania, the best pollsters in the state actually show Biden leading here. These are in state pollsters that pretty much frequently get the Pennsylvania margins correct. It's really only the out of state pollsters actually showing Trump with the lead here. And I'm just more inclined to believe the in state pollsters here because they had a fairly good track record in getting elections right in Pennsylvania. And just, again, Pennsylvania, it's Joe Biden's birth state. His childhood was spent in this state. They have a deep connection with them. So, again, it doesn't really surprise me. It's one of his best states. And I still think it's a tilt blue state for Biden right now. But Trump so far still has the narrow advantage here. But it's important to keep in mind that all Biden has to do is flip Michigan, and then it is his election again. But again, that's just currently where I see things going for the 2024 election. A narrow Trump advantage still. He's still up in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nevada. But yeah, that's currently where I see the election. If you're new to this channel, I'd highly recommend subscribing. If you want to comment down below, feel free to do so. Ask any questions you'd like. I'll probably answer them. But other than that, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.